Now, first of all, I'm having a sip of water because one little tip, when you're drinking wine and tasting wine, it's always good to have a little water. It keeps your body flowing and cleansed. It's my little health tip of the day. Anyway, back to our very unusual Pinot Grigio. Now, first of all, I'm going to pour this now, but it's not cold. It's totally room temperature. And out here today in Napa, it was a warm day, so room temperature is, I'd say this bottle's, I don't know, 70-something degrees or something. So let's pour a little. One good thing about tasting, white wine should be drunk cold, but tasting it warm, we didn't do it purposely, we did it because of the circumstances. But sometimes when I'm tasting wine professionally for buying purposes and stuff, I'll taste the white wine warm because the cold will mask some flaws in the wine. The cold will hide some of the attributes and subtleties of the wine. So for purposes of wine business purposes, you may want to taste the wine warm sometimes, the white wine, because there's nothing it can hide from you then. If a wine's nice and cold, it tastes better, definitely a white wine, but it's not, it's hiding some flaws that maybe, even in the business world, if you bought 100 cases of, that would come out later as the wine develops in the bottle. That's a no-no. That's something you want to avoid. So anyway, here we are. Here's the wine. Now I'm looking at it. Now I don't really have, because I'm under nomadic conditions here, I don't have an actual white piece of paper to put behind here, something white to see the color truly, but I can still get a good idea that it's definitely a little deeper in color than many Pinot Grigios, from Italy at least. And it has a nice golden hue to it, a nice, clean, sparkly color. Okay, let's smell this. Now we're twirling because to twirl the wine, you agitate it in a sense and you air it more, and it releases more of the aromas of the wine. So you capture them and you get a more in-depth and fuller glimpse of what it's all about with the aromas. And on here, I'm picking up a nice fruitiness, like a melon and a some kind of yellow fruit, some pear in this wine. It's definitely rich. I'm picking up some oak, of course, 7 months in French oak. Now, it didn't specify on there whether it was new oak or a couple of years old. I'm assuming they didn't use too much new oak because that would almost be too powerful for this wine. When an oak barrel has been used a couple of times and you put a wine in it, it imparts less of the oak flavor because it's been saturated with wine. So that's actually a tool a winemaker uses. It's better to use a 2-year-old barrel sometimes in certain applications, like this with a Pinot Grigio, which normally doesn't see oak. It's a penetrating nose too. I am picking up a little alcohol. Let's see what that is again. 14.3% alcohol in this one. This is definitely the atypical Pinot Grigio. Wow. That has the texture and the mouthfeel of a California Cabernet, so a California Chardonnay, barrel fermented California Chardonnay, and more than Sonoma Napa. Now remember, I'm tasting it warm too. I'm also picking up a nice acidity in it, and it picks up some of that melon and sometimes melon, and I'm getting a little vanilla from the oak, blending with those melon type flavors of a Pinot Grigio. So it's very interesting. This is a wine that I would say, and remember, I'm just tasting it for the first time, so I may draw a little different conclusions later, but my first impression is, food-wise, also the wine finishes very nicely on the palate and dry. It's dry. It has a lot of fruit to it. There's a fruitiness on the front of the palate, but it finishes dry, this wine. This is something to match with heavier food than you normally would, of course, typically for Pinot Grigio. This would go with chicken dishes. You can see this with a lot of chicken with a cream sauce on it. It would go with heavier fish like salmon, especially salmon in the potato crust like the French make it, and cream sauce on it. That would go nice with this. This is a very different wine. So I'm going to sit down now and analyze it a little more and enjoy my wine. And may you all be drinking a good glass of wine out there. God bless.